a place you gotta be, where movies, shows, and games light up your fantasy. Slav's behind the mic, he's got a vibe.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Slav's Free Talk Podcast. Glad to have you here. Happy Easter, everybody. I know we're a couple days past Easter. Happy WrestleMania season. We're a little past that as well, but hell, that was a WrestleMania season. Well, Monday Night Raw was crazy, but I hope you all had a good Easter. I hope you all had a fun time with your families and just a good weekend. It was a good weekend. But we got some things to talk about. A lot of pop culture stuff going on. There's some news about XMen and the upcoming Doomsday. We got some Ben Affleck comments. We got some Supergirl news, maybe, possibly. Is Superman in trouble? We're going to talk about that as well as a bunch more. So sit back, relax. This is going to be a fun one tonight, everybody. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? I hope you enjoyed that little video vignette. I know the first 2-3 minutes of it didn't have any audio. I apologize for you or for that. If you haven't gotten a chance to check that out, I encourage you. There we go. I encourage you to go check that out. The whole video's on my channel. You can watch it. I think it's a great video. Look, I know some of you may not be religious. That's perfectly fine. You don't need to be. I have one that's about Star Wars as well, just connecting religion, Christianity to the Bible or the religion to the Bible, pop culture. And I just think it's kind of cool. I think it's a different type of way to approach things. And I think it's a lot of fun. And specifically, I took Zack Snyder's iteration of Superman there. I thought it was going to be really cool. So hopefully you enjoyed that. If you haven't gotten a chance to check it out, go watch the whole thing, share it around, show your friends, family, show it to your church if you so please. No problem with that. Okay. So who do we got in here? We got Trevon. Howdy, hey. We got Cozy Lion. Hi, Slav. Getting back into YouTube again. That's awesome. I encourage everybody. Everybody should get into YouTube. Everybody should have fun finding something to do to be productive in some way, whether it's art, YouTube. Heck, if you love movies, just talk about movies. Grab your smartphone, and just talk into your smartphone and then share it on Twitter. There's so much stuff you can do on X now, Facebook, whatever it is. If you enjoy doing it, just throw it out there. I'm sure you will find an audience. Absolutely. We got Jay Burns here. He says, I was told in my Fantastic Four trailer reaction video that because I dug the Superman trailer more, still like the Fantastic Four trailer, mind you, that I was in denial of my soul. I'm a bigger Superman fan than Fantastic Four. Yeah, man, look, I still I did not like the Fantastic Four trailer. I thought there were some issues. It was all right, but I didn't like it. It did nothing for me. But I still like what I've seen from Superman thus far. But I've never claimed to be I've always claimed to be, I should say, a bigger DC fan than Marvel fan. And I always look forward to the DC films far more than I look forward to Marvel films. But we also have to take a look at Marvel's track record over the last 5 years has been abysmal, as has DC. But right now, DC is in a rebooting phase, which kind of wipes that slate clean a little bit to see what they're going to do. That's just my thought there. We got Critic Chris in here. Hey, Slav, fellow DC fans. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. But yeah, we got a good bit to talk about here. Let me get up the first window. And where are we at here? Try and get this figured out. Yeah, we got a good bit to talk about. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is some box office shenanigans this past week. I love talking box office stuff. It's a good time. Batman 235 is in the house. What's going on? He says hello. So box office breakdown. This is via Geeks and Gamers. And I want to talk about this because I still think it's crazy. And I know there's some people in my comments from the shorts that I share and the videos I share, and they're like, I can't believe you think that Minecraft being the biggest video game of all time, being successful in the theater is crazy. What people don't understand is video game adaptations don't always translate well to the movie screen. So the fact that Minecraft is doing so well, one, is shocking. Two, it's a terrible film and it's doing that well. But I digress. So what are we saying over here at Geeks and Gamers? After 2 solid weeks at the top at the top of the box office, a Minecraft movie has finally fallen to second place against the brand new horror flick from Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Though it does not seem appropriate for Easter weekend, audiences clearly showed up to check it out nonetheless. With an opening domestic weekend of 48 million and a global of 63 million, the roughly $100 million budgeted film has started off better than many likely expected. Though with the budget, its chances of breaking even at the box office are still very much in the air, needing to make between 250 and 300 million after you account for marketing and the typical splits between theaters and studios and so on and so forth. The chance of Sinners legging out that well does not seem likely. If the film has an average performance, it will likely end its box office run around 180 to 200 million. Though this is definitely not a guarantee, the movie still has a long way to go to reach profitability on the box office side of things, as Sinners currently has a solid 78% rad score over on Criticlist with about 39 current views. It is clear that many are walking away from the film with something positive to say. So the top 5 films this weekend were number 1, Sinners, a Minecraft movie, which was a 48%, only a 48% drop this weekend. Only 48%, guys. That is insane that it only dropped 48%. Dude, like, this movie, it's going to be $1 billion movie. Like, come on. Why is Minecraft a $1 billion movie? All right. King of Kings was in 3rd place, The Amateur 4th place, and Warfare in 5th place. Minecraft begins to slow, but still likely to hit $1 billion. With it dropping down to 2nd place and only dropping 48%, it has now shown $716 million globally. Is that right? Wait, movie starting to slow, but going into the weekend, it seemed that crossing 750 would have been very likely. With current reporting from the numbers showing, 716 million globally after initial showing over 720. One does have to wonder if perhaps the movie is beginning to cool amongst its very young audience, and if this cool could impact any long-term success. I think $1 billion is going to happen for this movie 100%. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It's the fact that we're up to this point. We're 3 weeks in, and it's at $700 million 3 weeks in. And like I said a couple weeks ago, all they need to do is get up to Lilo and Stitch. If they keep this movie up to Lilo and Stitch, it's going to hit $1 billion. Because people are going to go back and see it between now and then, probably a few more times. If they market it well, if they keep marketing the chicken jockey and stuff like that, 100%, it's going to hit $1 billion. And they have what, special chicken jockey screenings and stuff like that now. Absurd. It's just ridiculous and absurd, if you ask me. Now, what I want to do is I want to continue this story specifically about Sinners in the box office. I don't know if you saw this, but okay, or not. I don't want to look at this pop-up Men's Journal. So Ben Stiller pushed back on Sinners box office narrative in a viral tweet. On April 20th, Ben Stiller called out in a viral tweet that claims Sinners is still far from turning a profit, a narrative he described as completely misaligned with the film's actual weekend success. He responded to a tweet from Variety. Sinners has amassed 61 million in its global debut. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film, yet the Warner Brothers release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses, so profitability remains a ways away. In his response, Stiller said, "In what universe does a $60 million opening for an original studio movie warrant this headline? The Severance director has made it clear he views this film's opening weekend performance as a success worth celebrating." According to the article from April 20th, Sinners has brought in over 61 million globally from its opening weekend. So then you have, on April 20th, Patrick Schwarzenegger, its opening weekend, implying that the film's profitability is far from settled and that Sinners is likely to earn significantly more in the coming days and weeks. So Joe Russo wrote a similar tweet poking fun. Why didn't the movie make all its budget back in 3 days? So there's this whole thing going on about Sinners and about what Variety says here. And to me, it's kind of like, I think there's a little, like, I read this Variety headline. It says Sinners amassed 61 million in its global debut. It's a great result for an original R-rated horror film. Right there. So I stopped there for a second. I go, yeah, that is a really good result for not just an original R-rated horror film, but a period piece horror film in today's day and age. That is fan-freaking-tastic. $61 million is fantastic. And the Variety continues, yet the Warner Brothers release has a $90 million price tag before global marketing expenses, so profitability remains a ways away. Now, I guess I could see why people would get a little upset about that, because they're like, there's still a ways away to make profit off this. Now, I don't know why they felt it was important to put that after the first 2 days of it coming out, but I'm not angry at it, because someone like Ben Stiller, Patrick Schwarzenegger, this Joe Russo guy, me, you, we all understand how the business works. So we understand that, yeah, I mean, absolutely. Made $61 million. That's great. But we know it's going to be a while until it makes the money it needs to make to be profitable. But Joe Schmo down the street who follows Variety just to see the headlines of what's going on in the world, who doesn't follow this stuff as religiously as you or I or people in the business, they might not understand that. And I think that's what Variety was trying to do here. Now, some people take a look at this as being like a hit piece against Warner Brothers, or a hit piece against Ryan Coogler, or a hit piece against a film that has primarily black actors in it and is directed and written by a black man. And it's kind of like, whoa, I think we need to take a step back here. And I don't think that's what Variety was doing. Was this a weird way to make a headline? Sure, it was. But I think people are just blowing this out of proportion. I really do. And it's always like everybody seems that thinks that there's an angle for everything and anything that gets tweeted, anything that gets posted, anything that gets put out. We're going to talk about something here in a little bit. Basically kind of the same thing in a little bit here. But this is, to me, like, let's just celebrate what happened. Like, honestly, when I read this, I didn't sit there and say, oh man, Variety's attacking Sinners. Oh man, that's not what I looked at. That's not what I saw. I saw they're celebrating it made $61 million. And it's telling people, like, hey, it's going to take a little bit for it to hit its to be profitable. But I know that. And so do a lot of other people, but not everybody. And that's okay. That's okay. I don't know. I want to know what you guys think about this weekend's box office. Are you shocked about what happened with Sinners? Are you excited about it? Do you think it's going to become profitable? Do you think it'll hit that like 250, 300 million? Like I said last week, I think that it could hit that 300 million. I would love for it to hit that 400, but I know that's kind of a long shot. I haven't seen it yet. I really, really want to get a chance to see it, but I want to know what you guys think in the comments for sure below. And then tell me what you guys think about Minecraft. Do you think it's going to hit that billion? Love to hear what you guys have to say. All right. Let's see. Chris asks, "Is Minecraft good? I've heard of the game, but hate Jack Black." You've only heard of the game Minecraft? You've only heard of the game? Dude, that game's been out for what, 15 years? It's only the biggest game ever. I'm not a big fan of Jack Black nowadays. He's kind of become like the same character in every movie. But yeah, it's not a good movie. Hope for Lives. I do not understand how a Minecraft movie ends up being the biggest movie of the year so far. It doesn't matter. This was very important for both Warner Brothers and theaters. They needed this. Those guys needed it. Warner Brothers desperately needed it. And not only did Warner Brothers need that, but Warner Brothers needed this as well. Very much so. They needed this. So yeah, definitely. Chris says, I'm old school. Hey, it's okay. It's okay. Once we get our Tetris movie, it's all for you then. Don't worry. Just kidding. All right. Moving on. This is a late story that I just threw in here. I do want to talk about it a little bit. I know some of you don't like Star Wars. I'm sorry. I know. Star Wars. It is Star Wars. According to some reports, Kathy Kennedy's plan to step down is coming sooner rather than later. This coming from Star Wars Newsnet via, I believe, Jeff Snyder. Now, Kathleen Kennedy stepping down from Lucasfilm in August. Now, if you remember, a couple months ago, Matt Bellani, via his Puck newsletter, stated that Kathy Kennedy was going to leave Lucasfilm by the end of the year. Now, Jeff Snyder is revealing that Kathy Kennedy will be stepping down this August. That, to me, seems very quick. I didn't expect that to happen. But just last week during Star Wars Celebration, Screen Rant asked Kennedy about her departure, to which she replied, I'm not retiring. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. This is the same line that she gave Deadline back in February when the news first broke. And of course, it's deliberately misleading. In fact, during that Deadline interview, she confirmed news of her exit would be coming within a year. The reporter never said Kathleen Kennedy was retiring from filmmaking, but rather that she was stepping down as Lucasfilm president. She's not going anywhere because she's still going to be a producer on multiple Star Wars films that she's working on currently. The big question, of course, about her successor, who is going to be her successor? People think Dave Filoni is at the top of the charts from where we're standing, but reporting from a couple of months ago seemed to indicate he wouldn't be the only one to take on the position. A likely candidate that Star Wars Newsnet has been predicting for over a year would be the trusted producer Carrie Beck, whom Filoni credited multiple times in Japan during Star Wars Celebration as the brains behind several operations, like bringing back the Clone Wars and doing the Tales series. Beck didn't attend the convention because she was in London getting everything up to date so that Ahsoka could start filming within the next few days. So it looks like, if we're to believe Jeff Snyder, Kathy Kennedy could be stepping down this August from Lucasfilm's president, CEO, what have you. I think that's a good move, but I don't think it's enough. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Kathy Kennedy stepping down, a lot of us have been saying for how long, we want Kathy Kennedy gone. We want Kathy, she needs to leave. She needs to get fired. She needs to quit, whatever it is. The fact of the matter is, at this point in time, the problem isn't just her. It's not just her at this point. There's a lot of other issues going on at Lucasfilm. And as much of a fan as I've been of Dave Filoni for a number of years, I do believe that he's one of the issues. I don't know who this Beck is. I don't know who she is. I don't know how involved she's been. Now, I have liked Ahsoka. I have liked The Mandalorian. I've liked some things that have come out of it, out of Lucasfilm. But then you also have things like Obi-Wan. You have things like The Acolyte. You have the sequel trilogy. I mean, there's things that are just so bad. And to me, those things are bad enough that I would rather see them almost clean house completely. And I know you can't easily do that because it's still a studio, it's still a company that you have to continue pushing forward. You have to still run this company and make things moving forward. So it's not like it's an easy just stop and start. You can't just stop it, clean house, and then start up. I get that. But to me, I kind of think that there's going to be a lot of cheering in the streets the day that it's officially announced that Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down. But I think it'll be premature cheering. I think people aren't going to realize that that's not going to fix all of the issues and all of the problems. And I think we're going to find that all of these projects that she's lining up, Starfighter, this potential Rey movie, this Dawn of the Jedi movie, Taika Waititi movie, if any of those get made, if any of them get made, that they're going to be more of the same. Now, I think that's kind of why they're rushing one or two of these things into production, because if they get these things pushed into production before she leaves, then they're going to get made. She's going to get paid. She's going to be part of them, blah, blah, blah. Anything that's not in production before she leaves is not getting made. And I'm going to tell you right now, that Rey movie, never coming. Never coming. That Simon Kinberg trilogy, never coming. Never coming. But we'll see. Of course, we definitely will see. This is all very interesting to see how this plays out. Look, this is news that Revenge of the Sith gets re-released this week, and I can't wait to go see it this weekend. My two older boys are going to go with me. They've never seen it in the theater. It's still, to this day, in 2005, May 19th, 2005. Actually, it was May 18th. That's when they still did movies at midnight releases, not 7 o'clock releases. This is back when they still did midnight releases. To this day, it's still one of my, if not my favorite premiere that I went to was Revenge of the Sith. And that was at a time that, hey, this is going to be the last Star Wars movie. We all believed it. All the fans, everybody that went to that, we truly believed this was going to be the last Star Wars movie in 2005. So to me, that was the greatest experience. I can't wait to go see that this week, again, with my kids on the big screen. Looking forward to it. This news coming out this week that it's probably going to happen in August that she steps down. Plus, we had Celebration earlier or late or over this past weekend. Like, there's a lot of information coming about Star Wars. Like, this week is very much filled Star Wars. And, I sit there and I'm thinking, like, we haven't had a lot of good Star Wars news for a while. And I used to get overly excited and I used to sit there and think, man, what would it be like to get new Star Wars stuff, new Star Wars? And then they announced the sequel trilogy, and I was over the moon. And then we got this and we got that, and it was great. It was great. And I sit here in 2025 now, and I'm like, why am I more excited about the person running Lucasfilm and Star Wars leaving than I am about any potential project coming out? And that's the damage that's been done to the brand, and it's a shame. It's a shame. Now, I'm absolutely excited about going and seeing Revenge of the Sith. I'm more excited about seeing that than anything else. But her leaving makes me more excited than really any other announcement or any other project coming out. Now, again, I know it's a little premature. I know it's not going to fix everything. But I do hope that it starts to mend the issues. I do hope. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you think this is going to be the start of mending the issues and fixing the problems? Do you think it's just going to be more of the same after she leaves? Do you believe Jeff Snyder? Again, as I always say, when it comes to scoopers, take what you hear with a big grain of salt, because they're just scoopers and you can't always trust them. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right. Next up, XMen. This is coming from Superhero Cuts. XMen. Superhero Cuts via Daniel RPK says XMen will reportedly have comic-accurate costumes in Avengers Doomsday. Scenes are currently being filmed at the X Mansion. That is really hard to get excited about, because do you know how many different comic suits they've had? There's you see in this picture here, that isn't even the typical Wolverine costume. It's a play on it, but it's not the typical one. Like Magneto, that's pretty accurate to Magneto. There's Cyclops. That isn't even the typical Cyclops one. I mean, that's the thing. Like, which one are we gonna get? I don't know. Like I would like to see, but who knows? Who knows which one we're gonna get? Personally, I just hope we get something that's good, that looks cool, that isn't just black leather. But again, who really knows? Am I right? Am I right? But yeah, I just want to talk about that really quick because I don't have much Marvel news to talk about, and this is pretty much the only thing that popped up. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All right, Donovan says, I can't get excited for any Star Wars project. That's a shame. That's what they've done to the franchise. It sucks. Critic Chris says the Mandalorian Grogu movie comes out this year or next year. Critic Chris says Grogu. Vidhan says next year. They're still shooting, I guess. I think they finished shooting. I think they're just doing the post work now. Hope for Life, that film comes out in 2026, and I just found out Pedro Pascal is going to be playing the Mandalorian. Well, he's been playing the Mandalorian since the first season of the Mandalorian. Yeah, I mean, he's been the Mandalorian from the first season. I guess it was season 3. I don't think he showed his face at all. He was just the voice all season. He never took his helmet off that season. He took his helmet off at the end of season 1, and then I think once in season 2, maybe? Or he may not have even in season 2. I can't remember. No, he did at the very end of season 2. He did at the end of season 1, very end of season 2, and not at all in season 3. Critic Chris says 90s X-Men animated series costumes are my favorite. Yeah, those are probably the best and the most recognizable. But again, when you sit there and say they're going to have comic accurate costumes in Avengers Doomsday, it's kind of like, well, what comic? I mean, the X-Men have had many different costumes through the years. I mean, just Logan himself has probably had 24 different costumes. I don't know if I was going to say 50, but like, honestly, like how many different costumes has Logan had throughout the years? I mean, what does that even mean? Look, I'm just hoping it's not the black leather from the late 2000s. That's all I care about. Just don't give me that. Give me something cool looking. That's all I want. Donovan says Sinners in IMAX 70mm was an experience. I bet it was. Sorry, my daughter just decided to come in. Vidhan says, Hope for Life. What do you mean you just found? His voice is kind of iconic. Made me Google the cast. That's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I thought everybody knew that Pedro Pascal was in The Mandalorian. Anyways. All right, moving on. Ben Affleck. This stirred up some controversy. Very much so stirred up some controversy. And I think it's kind of ridiculous. So last Friday, Variety posted this about Ben Affleck. I guess they had an interview with Ben Affleck about something. I don't know what they were talking about. Honestly, I didn't read the whole thing. Says Ben Affleck states, I hated the bat suits. The bat suits are horrendous to wear. They're hot for one thing. They don't breathe. They're made to look like the way they want them to look. There's no thought put into the human being. So what happens is that you just start sweating. I sweat. You know what I mean. So in that thing, you just be pouring water. It's just made it difficult to make the movie because you're so hot. It also does not make you feel very heroic because you're instantly exhausted and really sweaty. Maybe Bale or Pattinson, guys like that, were just better at dealing with it. So this came out on Friday. Now, if you remember, Friday was Superman Day. And what a day it was. It was an amazing day. Fun day. Hopefully, I don't know if you guys got to check out the show on Friday where we celebrated Superman Day and stuff. It was a great day. Anyway, so this came up and they posted this article a few times on social media. Now, I don't know if you know this. I run a website too, and I post articles from time to time, and I'll share them on social media. And I'll share them a few times on social media. Sometimes 2 or 3 times in one day, 4 times in one day, depending on how excited I am about the article, depending on what kind of views I want to get about it, that kind of thing. So this one got shared in different ways. They put different headlines, and that's kind of how you want to share it on social media. You don't want to post the same exact thing 3 times because people just, I saw that already, and just skim by it. If you put different pictures, different headlines, different quotes, that kind of thing, that might catch people's attention a little bit better. They might read something a little bit differently and then maybe click on it then. So they posted it a few times on social media and people got mad. Some people. Can you guess what people got mad? Can you guess what people got mad? These people are getting mad. One were saying, "Oh, of course, you put a hit piece out." Where's the hit piece? These were Ben Affleck's words. This wasn't Variety saying this. This wasn't anybody not connected to Ben Affleck or the production. So you're saying Ben Affleck is putting out a hit piece about Batman and Snyder, and it wasn't even just Snyder's movies. I mean, he's talking about playing Batman in general. And let's not forget, he was Batman in a Snyder movie, he was Batman in a David Ayer movie, he was Batman in a Muschietti movie. He's talking about playing Batman in general. So where's this hit piece coming from? First off, this isn't news. We've heard Keaton talk about it. We've heard, I think Val Kilmer talked about it years ago. I think Bale even talked about how he didn't like wearing the suits. I mean, we've heard about these other actors who've played Batman in the past. And it's not even just Batman. We've heard about these actors who've put on these ridiculous superhero costumes and not enjoy wearing these costumes. So why do they think this is a hit piece? Oh, because it goes against, what they love so much. It's baffling to me how they twist and turn everything into being against them. It's absolutely baffling to me. And I'm sorry, but you see Aaron here. He goes, "How many times are you going to post the same story? I've seen it at least 3 times. Variety is pathetic. What is the studio? What do you mean? What is the studio afraid of?" Variety posted this. They posted it. Ben Affleck said the words. He's the one who spoke these words. Warner Brothers didn't say this. Nobody from Warner Brothers said this. Nobody from DC Studios said this. You know who said this? Ben Affleck. That simple. This is an article from Variety. This isn't an article from Warner Brothers. This isn't an article from DC Studios. This is they are afraid. They are so scared that their beloved Snyderverse is going to be gone for good, which it already is, but they just can't accept that. And they can't understand it. They can't accept the fact that when Superman comes out and is a success, that's it for him. That is completely, I mean, it already is it for him, but they're in their mind right now, it's when Superman comes out, that's it for him. So anytime something like this comes out, they automatically blame the studio for this. They blame James Gunn. They blame that it's a hit piece. And it's not. It has nothing to do, not a single thing to do with Warner Brothers or James Gunn or DC or anything. There's just an interview with Ben Affleck and they posted it. It's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy to me. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. Now this is another one. This next story. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is crazy. Boba Talks. We all love Boba Talks. He's got a great show. I still want to get him on my show to talk to him and just hang out and bullshit with him. I think he and I would get along great and have a great conversation. I've been trying, guys. I'd love to get him on. But it looks like Warner Brothers or DC Studios, sent him a little care package, a t-shirt in a box, just to say, hey, thanks for being a supporter type of thing. And it was a little gift. And he posted it like, look, guys, this was supposed to be for Superman Day. Great. And you have the same people who I was just speaking about literally attack Boba Talks. Now, I watch his show from time to time. I don't watch it all the time. I'm a busy guy. I have busy life. So I don't watch his show all the time. I don't watch every video he puts out. But he doesn't. Anytime I've watched, I've never seen him specifically, because I follow him on X too. I've never seen him specifically call out or harass or name anybody for their misinformation, for their ridiculous claims, for their ridiculous takes on DC and the upcoming Superman movie, on the DCU, or anything. I've never seen him do any of that. He seems like a stand-up guy. That's why I follow him. That's why I'm part of his Discord. I jump in there sometimes. Look, I'm terrible with Discord. I'm so bad with Discord. I have my own Discord that I barely use. But here's the thing. You have these guys. You got this STEM guy, which he is one of the lowest of the low on X. They're claiming that he's not going to be able to objectively talk about DC now. He can't objectively, whatever. I can't say words. Talk about Superman. Aaron Fisher. These people cannot be trusted with their opinions. They are being incentivized by the studios. You know, I don't know if it's here. No, it's not here. I saw one of my followers retweet this and say, keep in mind, Aaron Fisher is the guy who was complaining about, what was it? He was complaining about not getting Creature Commandos early or something like that, which is so true. It is absolutely so true. He was the one complaining about not getting Creature Commandos. Yet he's going to sit here and say these people cannot be trusted with their opinions. They are being incentivized by the studio. This guy going to the pictures. Now you know that whatever positive thing he says about James Gunn's Superman cannot be taken seriously. Like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Like, I don't know if you know this, but studios will market things. I know a couple people who got to go on the set of Rebel Moon. I know a couple of people who got to sit down and have an interview with Zack Snyder one-on-one, or had Zack Snyder come onto their podcast and a group of them. Do you think that people claimed and said, oh, you can't take what they say seriously anymore now? You can't trust what they're going to say about that movie? No, they didn't care. They didn't care because, honestly, that's marketing for a movie. That's marketing for a movie. Like, personally, like, cool. If they sent me something, that'd be cool. That would be cool. But I would not allow myself, like, if I went and saw Superman, if they sent me something like that and I went and saw Superman and I didn't enjoy it, I would say I didn't enjoy it. And it's kind of like, you know, people just don't understand, like, guys, I don't know. And of Boba Talks, of all people, they went after Boba Talks. Of all people. Like, he's probably the nicest guy on the DC fandom who talks DC news. And they go after it. That's just crazy to me. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts about this. Absolutely absurd and crazy. Absolutely absurd and crazy. Vinhan, what do you say? They've been obsessed with James Gunn and WB so much that everything that goes wrong has to be their fault. It's true. Donovan says these Snyder purists or bros are insane. Absolutely. It's getting out of hand. It's just absurd at this point. To attack somebody, to sit there and try and tell people on the internet, like, first off, Boba Talks, I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing he makes a living off of doing YouTube because he's got a really good following. I don't know if he has a real job or not, but he probably makes a good living off of YouTube. And to sit there and post something like this, that they can't be trusted, that you can't listen to what he says. Basically, they're telling everybody, like, hey, just because he's bought, that's wrong. Like, it's one thing to sit there and say, look, I'm going to pinpoint the lies and the misinformation that this person is telling. But this has no basis at all, because this is how marketing works. It happened under Zack Snyder's watch, and it's happening here. It happens under Disney. It happens under, it happens all the time. All influencers, all YouTubers get contacted. If they're good, they'll get contacted by a company and be like, hey, be an ambassador for us, or hey, let's do an affiliation, or hey, here's some product, or hey, come to our event. That's if you're a good influencer. That's if you're a good YouTuber, a good content creator. But most of these people don't understand that. All right. Couple more things. Running late here a little bit. This popped up today. The first logo for the Supergirl movie. Is it? Everybody says that this is coming from David Krumholtz, who is playing Zor-El. Zor-El? Yeah. In the movie. I didn't see where this originated from. I just saw this all over Twitter. I think it looks cool. If this is what it is, if this is going to be the logo for the movie, I'm all in. I love it. For me, I think this looks straight out of a comic book. Like, if I were to look at like the front page of a comic book, I can see that at the top of. I don't have any of all my comics are over there. Like, that's the logo at the top of a comic book right there, like right there, Supergirl. I love it. I love it. I think it's perfect. I think this is exactly what this movie needs, is a great logo like that. And yeah, I think this is what, look, we're getting little bits and pieces. I'm telling you, though, we're going to see Supergirl in her costume in Superman. And then we're not going to get anything for a while, for a few months after that. But that's okay. But this is perfect. Thank you, Superhero Cuts on X. Follow them, guys. They're great guys. Follow them. Watch them. They're great guys. But yeah, this looks cool. I like this. If this is legit, like I said, I couldn't find the actual link or photo of this. Maybe you guys saw it. I didn't see it. But this kind of popped up towards the end of the day. So I had to kind of rush and throw this in to my notes here. But it's cool. Let me know what you guys think. Hope for Life says, can't believe they're going after Boba. He treats everybody with respect. He's a really cool guy. He doesn't call out anybody for anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, everything I've watched, he seemed like a stand-up guy. Donovan says, apparently someone said that it's not the final logo. It's only for the production. That's unfortunate, because I think this is great. I would love this because it feels retro. I love the retro look. I think people are starting to get sick of the retro look because, Stranger Things came out. There was all that like 80s retro stuff going on for a while. I think people are starting to get sick of that. But I think this just feels retro. It feels great to just be on a comic book type of stuff, but whatever. Mario Faith Warrior. Boba was a big supporter of Zach when I first found his channel. He moved on because he supports DC. Mario, I'm the same way. I supported Zach. I love his DC stuff, but I am a DC fan first and foremost. I always have the sports analogy with this. Like, I'm in the city of Pittsburgh. All right. I'm outside the city of Pittsburgh, but I'm a big Pittsburgh Penguins fan. And the time's going to come when Sidney Crosby, huge sports star, huge hockey player, is no longer on the team. Does that mean I'm going to stop watching the Penguins? No, because the Penguins, that's the logo. That's the team. I'm a fan of the team. It's going to suck when my favorite player's gone, but I'm still going to watch the team. And that's a sports analogy that I always like to use with things like that. Look, sometimes your favorite player, your favorite coach goes away. But typically with sports, you don't just follow that player, that coach, especially the coach. Sometimes people will follow the player, but most of the time they don't. They follow their team. And that's kind of how I use that. Vidhan says, Aaron says it looks cheap for some reason, even though it's just for a chair and not the actual movie. Hey, even if it's just, look, I still think this would be perfect for the movie. I do. I think it's perfect. Like I said, I love the retro look. I love how it looks like it could be on the cover of a comic book. I love it. That's why I like it. Hope for Life says, thank you for standing up for Boba Talk, Slav. I hope you two eventually will get a collab together. I hope so too. I do hope we get that at some point. Critic Chris. Aaron asks why Kara's costume too skin tight, not loose, cheap looking like. How does he know? He doesn't know what her costume looks like. We haven't seen it. The pictures that we saw, or the videos that we saw, were from like a mile and a half away. All right. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the final topic here. We've got about maybe 10 minutes we can talk. 5-10 minutes we can talk about this. Okay. What I want to bring up. what I want to bring up. Why is my time way off? That's weird. Anyways, my time is way off. Anyway, oh, that's why, because I started everything early. Okay, never mind. I got like 10 minutes left. Okay, 15 minutes left. Man, I was speeding up for no reason. Oh boy. Okay, so the main thing I want to talk about is the Superman movie in trouble. So the first thing I want to bring up here is this here. This John Baker guy. I don't like this guy on X at all. So apparently, last week it came out that the runtime for Superman is now 104 minutes. Ain't no way this movie stinks after all that noise. So it's 104 or an hour and 44 minutes is what this movie is currently sitting at, supposedly. Now, we don't know what the final runtime of this movie. It could be an hour and 44 minutes. It could be. It could be 2 hours. It could be 2.5 hours. We don't know what the final runtime of this movie is, but people are sitting here trying to say this is how long the movie is. Let's also not forget that these test screenings, supposed test screenings that people are seeing, test screenings, like, let me make it say or put it like this for you. If you were walking down the street and somebody came up to you and said, "Hey, you want to go see a test screening of a movie right now?" Yeah, I'll go see a test screening. Okay, cool. Let's go. We'll take you to the theater. So you go into the theater and you watch a movie, and we'll just say it's, Bob's Burgers, the movie. We'll say, okay. How'd you like it? Oh, yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good. Okay, all right, thanks. You fill out this little form that they give you. Sometimes. And you fill out an NDA. You can't say anything about it. Blah blah blah. All that stuff. That cut of the movie that you saw was most likely cut together, most likely 2-3 months ago, possibly more. They don't cut a movie and then throw it into, to be seen like immediately. Like these screenings are like movies that have been cut, months prior, 1, 2, 3 months prior. So a lot of these screenings that people are seeing could be like, yeah, it could have been 104 minutes, but it could have been a cut of the film that was from 2 or 3 months ago where they didn't have shots all lined up how they wanted to, that they felt comfortable with putting in. So they kind of cut the film together a certain way because they wanted to see how people felt about certain scenes. You see? And that's why they do test screenings, because sometimes they want to throw a movie into a test screening because they're like, okay, there's this moment in a movie, we'll say, in Superman, this relationship between Lois and Clark. We really want to understand and see if this is hitting with people. But we can't just throw people into a movie for 20 minutes. No, they need to get the full scope of it. But let's not give them the whole film. Plus, we're not done with it. So we're not going to put the whole movie in there. We're going to cut some things out and edit it together a certain way so it still makes sense. So it feels like a movie. But the idea is we want to get their opinion specifically on the relationship or the emotional drive of Lois and Clark. And they'll put that cut together and they'll have a screener or screening. And they'll do that for screening sometimes. They'll do the same thing with, action sequences. They want to see how the action sequences are doing. So sometimes they'll cut out some of the emotional beats from the movie, and things like that, and they'll put them into screenings. They do those kind of things. Yes, that happens. It's a good possibility that whoever saw the movie and thought it's 104 minutes, that's what happened. So take this with a grain of salt. It could have been 104 minutes, but they could be adding that 20 minutes because that 20 minutes could have been an action sequence. That 20 minutes could have been dialogue, or could have been some other sequences that they just decided to pull out for that specific screening. It's okay. We don't know what the final cut of the movie is going to be. So is the movie in trouble because of this? No, it's not. But now people are also saying Shoes. No, damn pop-ups. David Fleming has been added to the movie to help James Gunn's Superman with the music. He's coming in to work with John Murphy. So David Fleming, who's worked on The Last of Us, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Damsel Hillbilly Elegy, That's two different things. Jim Henson, Idea Man. I can't talk. The Unforgivable, Blue Planet 2, The Night Logan Woke Up. He is contributing music to James Gunn's upcoming superhero movie, Superman. He is sharing scoring credit with the project's previously announced composer, John Murphy, whose theme was based on John Williams' music and was featured in the teaser trailer, which was also released on digital and such. The film is written and directed by James Gunn. All this stuff there. So much stuff. Superman will be released in theaters nationwide on July 11th. And that's all the information. We don't know why this is happening. So people, yes. D-Man7 goes, two composers? Question mark. Donovan says, I heard this, but this hasn't been officially confirmed by Gunn. Okay. You're right. And that's what I was going to say there, Donovan. Thank you for bringing that up. One, this hasn't been confirmed by Gunn. Now, that's not to say it isn't true, but let's say it is true. Maybe they were watching the movie and they felt that John Murphy's score, while great with John Williams' music, maybe there's some moments that they felt needed to have a little more flair or a little more undertone, maybe something different. And sometimes bringing in another composer that has just a little bit of a different type of touch will do that. And what I mean by that is one composer who likes to do that a lot is Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer likes to work with other composers from time to time on movies because he has a very specific type of way of working, and another composer has another way of working. And you take a look at specifically Batman v Superman. Hans Zimmer is credited with the music on Batman v Superman, so is Junkie XL. Now, the biggest reason why Hans Zimmer is credited for music on there is because a lot of the themes from the first movie are pulled into there, and they're his themes. And then Junkie XL continued off of those. But it all kind of flows together. Hans Zimmer is known for working with Rupert Gregson Williams. Is that his name? The guy who did the music on Wonder Woman. Rupert Williams and Gregson. I can't remember his name. Anyways, he works with him a lot too. Composers will do that kind of stuff sometimes. We don't know the reason for it. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is a good thing, that this is a bad thing. I'm not saying that this is accurate, that it's not accurate. But we can't sit here and say that this is a bad thing, that the movie's in danger, that anything is a problem, that there's a problem with the movie. Could there be? Maybe. But I'm a stickler for good music, specifically symphonic scores in films. I love a good symphonic score in a movie. I'm a huge John Williams fan. I'm a huge Hans Zimmer fan. But when I sit there and I think about it, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, like, if this is true, there's got to be a reason for it. Could it be that John Murphy is busy doing something else and they needed somebody to come in and help clean some things up right now? I mean, there's some things that could be going on. We just don't know. So maybe we'll find out. Maybe James Gunn will address this. If enough people ask him, he might address it. He might not. Who knows? I think if it's true, if this is actually true, I think he will bring it up and he will talk about it. And yeah, I guess we'll see. But the fact that they've already released music from John Murphy and they've already talked so highly about what he's done with the score, it's hard for me to believe that they have issue with the score that he's made. My guess, and I'm going to lean more towards the fact that it's probably that they either needed help and John's busy with something else or something like that. That's just my guess. And then the other thing I want to touch on, and it's really funny. So I watched Aaron Fisher's latest video, and he talked about this story, and I wanted to bring this up specifically in this um, topic, and I'm going to get around to why. So Gavin OConnor was writing a Suicide Squad 2 movie back in like 2019, 2020, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. And he tells a little story about what happened. He goes, "It's another example of the dysfunction of our industry. I had a very specific take. They wanted to do it. I think I was probably 3/4 of the way into the script when they brought in a new regime and all the DC people I was working with were gone. I was writing on the lot. I got a little bungalow there. My writing partner and I would just meet there and write every day. There was a knock on the door, and it was the new DC president. I'm guessing Walter Hamada is who I'm guessing it was. He said, 'So where are you with the script?' I said, 'It's almost done.' And he said, 'Can I read it?' And I said, 'Well, you can read it when it's finished.' A couple weeks later, I gave it to him. He said, 'Can you make it a comedy?' And I said, 'That's not what I wrote, and that's not the agreement I have with the studio.' He wanted me to make it into a comedy, and I was like, 'All right, I guess I won't be working here.' It was really a father-daughter story with Deadshot and his daughter," he says. So the reason why I bring this up is because Aaron Fisher in his video specifically went, "This is the problem with Warner Brothers. This is the problem. They will never get anywhere because every single project is comedy, 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 comedy." And he just went on and on and on. Dude, what are you talking about? See, Superman's not in trouble because one, it's not going to be straight up comedy. Have you watched James Gunn's movies? There's comedic moments in it. It has humor in it, but there's also a lot of heart and heroics in his movies. Yes, he's a comedy writer. That's okay. But the fact that he can add heart and heroics and humor and combine it all and have great human stories and even have some really dark moments in his films, that's pretty impressive. So there's that. But there's also this. Here, come a little closer. I want to tell you something. Come a little closer here. There's a movie. Not a movie. I'm sorry. There's a television show called Lanterns coming out that is not a comedy at all. Do you see who's writing and directing and doing this thing? Do you really think that's going to be a comedy? My goodness, dude. Come on. Like, yeah. I don't know. Look, there's no issues with Superman. There's no reason to be worried about Superman. It is not in trouble. People want to twist everything that's going on, any little bit of information. They complain about the marketing. They complain about any little news story that comes out. They complain about every little thing that comes out. They complain about it's not there. They complain about content creators and YouTubers for getting a t-shirt. They complain about anything they can to make it sound like there's issues with this movie. They complain about the Superman suit because it has wrinkles. Oh my God, wrinkles! Oh man, there's wrinkles in a suit. They complain about so many little things, and it's absolutely absurd. And the only reason they do this, is because they're afraid. They're afraid that they have to accept that their beloved Snyderverse is officially over. And that's the problem. They're afraid. And they're in denial. And the only way that they can get their little scariness and their little fear out of them is to bash something else, to criticize something else. And that's what's going on right now. It's pathetic. It's truly, truly pathetic. It's there's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. And you would think that all these people that for so long would sit there and say, you don't like Batman versus Superman because you just don't understand it. You would think that they'd have the ability to understand themselves and what's going on inside of them. You think they'd be able to understand what's going on inside of them? You'd think. But they don't. They don't. It's a sad, sad day. It truly is. Vidhan goes, I hate you for that jump scare. What was that scream? My God. Sorry about that. Sorry. Just trying to wake you all up a little bit. Just trying to get you all awake. I'm sorry. Crazy Joe's Concession says the reason they are going so hard on this movie is because they are scared. That's exactly it. He says they know it's going to be successful and they're desperate to change the narrative. 100%. Oh boy. Look, I hate talking about it all the time, but it has to be said, and maybe people will understand it. Maybe they will. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they'll get through to them some form or fashion. Hopefully. I don't know. Look, guys, head to my description of this video. You're going to see a couple ways to support the channel now. Obviously, you can always support the channel by becoming a member. That'd be great. Be honored if you became a member. I'm starting to put more member-only videos up. Sometimes you might see a member-only video that's like, you get it first. So you'll get a video on there for like a day or two before it goes live for everybody else, which is always fun. There's also ways that there's an affiliate link for NeoPixel sabers. So you could go check that out if you want to get a new lightsaber for yourself. Also, check out my merch store. You can pick up a t-shirt or 2 or 3 or 10, whatever you want to do. So check out that way to support my channel if you so please, if you would like to. So that would be fun. This Thursday, obviously, I will have another show, which is the Watchtower DC Talk, which will be fun, hopefully. Yeah, so this was a show. Thank you all for coming on. Let me see. What are you guys saying here? Vidhan says, did you look at those new figures and books? There's probably a novel releasing in June that looks damn cool. I looked at the figures. I ordered pop figures. I'm not a big figurine guy. I stopped collecting action figures during the Star Wars sequels, and I was only collecting Star Wars figures for a while. I started collecting pop figures for some unknown reason because I'm an idiot, and I saw a couple pop figures. I don't collect a lot of them, just some that I really like. So I got a couple pop figures. D-Man 7. Either way, it's going to be a long 2.5 months ahead. Buckle up. Indeed. For Life says, I think Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is one of those examples of this. Yes. All right. So I think we are good to go, guys. I got to play. I don't know if my music is working here. Oh, my music doesn't work there because I'm not on the right thing. So I have to play it over here. That's why it wasn't working earlier. You don't have that. All right, guys. Well, there's the music. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Share this around. Remember, you can find me on the YouTubes, which you're watching probably now. All the podcasting apps, the big ones, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Come back on Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. for DC Talk. We're going to really dive into some DC stuff. I think it's going to be a open mic type of deal. You guys come in with just ask me a question. We'll just talk questions, shoot the shit type of thing on Thursday, unless some big news drops. So keep that in mind. With all that said, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you on Thursday.